We're building this sexy, custom aluminum catamaran from scratch. And today's project is a cool one. Keel cooled, that is.
And a keel cooler is a way to exchange heat with the salt water right outside the boat.
We're taking a stab at something totally new for us and attempting to design and fabricate a custom keel cooling system for our dual 25 kilowatt combi electric motors. We're gonna take you with us all the way from concept.
If I can place a tube that runs from, like, let's say here to here, so it'll dissipate heat into the whole plates and into this frame.
To the final product.
Jacked this up, these turned out beautifully.
With a few detours in between.
Yes! Yes! I can do it! I can do it! Oh.
So let's turn up the heat and cool things down as we dive into this project. Let's get started.
It's Fun Shirt Friday, and on Friday I always try to start like kind of a little fun project. It's not too crazy that I can just kind of work on as I go. And I think what I'd like to do today is start working on the heat exchanger for the electric motors. The whole point of this is to take heat out of the coolant loop of the electric motor and transfer it to the hull. And this is what I was trying to calculate the surface area based on those AI prompts that I did.
We made a pretty fun video that gives us a lot of background on this project that's definitely worth checking out if you'd like to get into the nitty-gritty details. But here's a few highlights that will get you up to speed and what you need to know for now.
A keel cooler is a way to exchange heat with the salt water right outside the boat. It's normally used in like refrigeration and freezers and something like that. Because we're an aluminum hulled sailboat, I think that I can actually conduct the heat right through the aluminum of the boat and just run a closed loop coolant system similar to what's in your car radiator, and then let the heat leach to the aluminum and to the outside. But the big question is, how big does that keel cooler portion need to be in order to dissipate that much heat? And so I've been doing some research, and I just figured I would ask a couple of AI agents the question and see what they come up with. So, as if you have a 25 kilowatt electric motor and it's 90% efficient, I'm sort of rounding down the efficiency to be on the conservative side, and you want to cool it with a closed loop coolant system, how much heat do you need to dissipate via an aluminum heatsink? And then I have a follow-up question. How large would that heatsink need to be if it's used as a keel cooler on an aluminum sailboat? So, I mean, I just put it in there and I hit go, and it starts spitting information back at me right away. So they're saying that we need 0.125 square meter. Now this is an approximation because we don't really know the temperature of the water we'll be in. We don't know exactly how much heat is going to transfer from the whatever material I use to the hull and then out into the water. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pick something that's convenient to make that is going to be approximately that surface area, and we're going to watch it. And if it doesn't transfer enough heat, we'll just add more. I'll just add another one. The thing that's interesting here is when you say we need, let's say, 0.125 meters squared, that's the size of the plate that's going to radiate heat into the water. And so my plan is to find a place in the engine room that's under the water line. And so I'm thinking that this area right here might be a good placement. We're well under the water line. The water line is approximately right here. That's the light water line. The heavy water line will be somewhere up here, 8 centimeters above it. Someplace that I can get to easily with hoses and pumps. My motor controller is here. The electric motor is going to be right here. The coolant pump is going to be situated right here. That's as long as possible but it needs to be a narrow space, because for these types of heat exchangers, a long and narrow heat exchanger is more efficient than, like, let's say, a square. So if we could find something that's narrow and like 1 meter long, it's more efficient to dissipate heat than something that's this size. And so if I can place a tube that runs from, like, let's say here to here, I'm gonna get, this is 1 meter space in between these two frames. Then I can have contact on the hull on one side, and then I can have contact on this frame as well. So it'll dissipate heat into the hull plates and into this frame, which will then, dissipate it out into this part of the hull. And then we'll go from there. Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. So let's go next door. Let's find a piece of tubing and let's cut it up. So freaking loud, it's ridiculous.
That
it's like
thing
living
is so
in a
loud
tornado.
too.
So Dan says I can use this tubing. We can also use bigger stuff, but that really doesn't help us because we don't really get much more surface contact area with the hull on a bigger tubing. We're just keeping more water in it, and it's harder to work with. This, Dan also says we can run through the tubing bender. So if I want to contour it to the shape of the hull, we can do it with this size, and it fits that tap nicely. So I can cut a section of this, weld an end plate on it, tap it, and then my fitting will go right in the end, right? Maybe.
At this stage, we're kind of just seeing what materials we have available, our performance requirements, and where the space constraints take us. And the great part about just talking things through like this is you can bounce ideas off of each other and see things from a completely different angle.
If you have a tube, it will only touch the hull in a very small space. Wouldn't it be better to have a flat thing that was like along the hull?
Like a rectangle? I
Yeah.
thought about that too. So we have something like this, right? Which would definitely have more contact area with the hull.
Yeah, with the hull.
We might be able to bend this. This is not a bad idea, actually. I think we can still bend this in one direction. So the hull is slightly concave too, so it'll probably have points of contact like here and maybe here, but it's probably more than that. Hey, Dan. Look at this guy. I love your psychedelic work shirt, buddy.
Nice, isn't it?
Yeah, it's pretty sweet. Kaz brought up a point. Couldn't we actually get more surface area contact? Maybe not in the middle, but certainly on the edges and the side. Yeah.
Good idea, Kaz.
Thanks.
Good thinking, 99.
What's that? Good thinking 99?
Good thinking, 99.
Who? What?
Maxwell Smart. You don't never heard of Maxwell Smart?
Who's
Nope.
Maxwell Smart?
He's American.
Max, you realize you'll be facing every kind of danger imaginable.
And loving it.
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
Where have you
sorry.
been?
I've been out sailing
On
for
a boat for too long.
I've been on a boat for 15 years. I don't know. My gut tells me I should try this.
Okay.
My gut tells me we should have a burger.
Yes! Smoko!
Smoko.
Okay.
Smoko!
Look at that. Very good time.
Lactose free cheese on them, Kaz.
Oh, thank you. How's that though?
That's a Smoko burger right there. Gonna get it all over. I'd say that's probably a 9 out of 10. Pretty good, Nate. Nice work, buddy.
Second burger? Really?
It's just a patty. No bread, it doesn't even count. Dan had 2. I can have 2.
You did?
Takes a lot of fuel. Fuel this big motor, Kaz.
What did you say? Put it in your laughing, what? Something? I can't keep up with all those sayings.
Wrap your laughing gear around that.
Wrap your laughing gear around that. That's, that sounds dirty.
With our burgers down the hatch and our concept and plan pretty clear in our minds, we're ready to dig into the execution phase, starting with the first step of cutting the extrusion to length.
This stuff is amazing. It's 6 meters long, 18 feet in. Look how wide it is. Here it is. I cut it 900 mils long, so it'll sit between these frames. And my thoughts are to place it up like this, because then we get good contact area with the frame on the top and the hole on the bottom. Then instead of putting the fittings on the side, where I don't have a lot of room, I can add a doubler. I can seal off the ends, and then I can add like a doubling plate here, and I can do them on the side. I think I have enough room to do that. And if I do that, then my fittings can come down this way. I have plenty of room for my heater hose to clamp onto there, and I can do one on the other side as well, over there. And then this should conduct heat into this stiffener and also the hole. All this is below the water line. And then it's all very conveniently located to everything. And if I want to, I might just go ahead while I'm working at it, put another one on this side. I can do the same concept, and then I will, as opposed to putting 2 of them on one side, which I feel might just be concentrating the heat all in one area. So if I do them on 2 separate sides of the boat, then I think it'll do a lot better with the heat dissipation, and I can run them in series with, I can just connect them through. So I'll run through one, and then I'll run through the second one, and obviously the second one will get a little bit less heat than the first one because it will have dissipated some heat. Or I could run them in parallel, but I'm not sure there would be any benefit to that. I'm gonna have to think through that. But I have options, because once I get these welded and the end tubes created and the fittings put in there, then I can plumb it up in series or in parallel, however I want, depending on the pump and how everything runs, and to make the lines and the hoses nice. So I think this actually will work really well. I like the placement. This side's looking good too. So now I might take a little bit of time to create some end caps for these, tack them on there, make the doubler plates, tap the holes for the BSP fittings, and then we're on our way. Okay.
Happy with the setup and space? Now I need to start the process of transforming these pieces of metal from a basic rectangular extrusion to a sleek, watertight container with fittings.
All right, plan's coming together. So Dan, I talked about it with Dan, and he had the idea of using angle for both pieces of the end. So what I can do is put that on there like that. I can close off the ends, and it becomes my doubler plate at the same time, and saves me a whole lot of work. So
I've come to learn that working with metal is about taking simple building blocks, standard size plates, tubes, angles, or extrusions, and figuring out just how to piece them together into something very cool. After all, that's how this entire boat started. Instead of cutting a bunch of individual squares and welding every edge, we can just trim this angle to size, and boom, half our corners and edges are already done.
So right now I'm just getting little burrs off the side. You can see from cutting it. Nice and smooth.
Next up, we'll cap the ends and weld everything together. But with another week coming to a close here in the shop, that's gonna have to wait until Monday. And as much as we absolutely love working on this project, stepping away for the weekend is always a good reset, especially when we've got an adventure like this lined up.
Good morning. Sierra, do you know what we're doing today?
On a boat.
She was so excited earlier. We're gonna go on a mission. We met some friends, some Insta friends.
Yeah, some really nice people. We're gonna go out with them and go on their boat.
He flies in to meet you.
Are you excited, Sierra? Look at the boat, it's so big.
It's a speedboat. A giant Maggie. Whoa!
Hold on.
And see, these are for your hands. You can hold on because this is a speedboat. How fast do we go, Sierra? We dropped our anchor off the shoreline of Moreton Island, located just off the coast of Brisbane. This island is 98% national park, offering crystal clear waters, historic shipwrecks teeming with marine life, and towering sand dunes that stretch as far as the eye can see. So naturally, climbing to the top of the very first dune we saw was our first order of business. Hi Sierra, I see you! What's it like up there? I hope you guys know that we're gonna film you and put you in our YouTube videos today.
Just don't show anyone how unfit we are.
We brought beer, it's fine, we'll be hydrated.
I brought margaritas.
Oh!
Special blend. And I was worried about Sierra being able to make it. She's got the right power to weight ratio.
Look how tiny she is.
Go, Luffy!
Oh, she's cool.
I can do this! I can do this! Oh! Again?
It's quite a workout. I'm happy we did this first. So it's like done with. Oh. They do the crawling technique. It's like a river, flows. Yay!
We made it!
We did it!
I have it on very good authority that this is possibly the second biggest sand island in the world and definitely Australia.
Is that a Brian fact?
Settling into land life to build Delos 2.0 has been a huge change for us. It's a new challenge and totally different to the last 15 or so years living at sea. And while we're absolutely loving it, it's true that today felt like a little reminder of what we're working towards again. Days spent as a family exploring beautiful new locations, meeting new friends, and finding new surprises around every corner. We have years and years of days like these ahead of us, and doing it all on our new floating home that we built ourselves, well, that's going to be a feeling that we'll never forget.
So they have these amazing little soldier crabs here, and I'm gonna try to do a time lapse.
How many are there?
Wait, 10, 49, 6, 49, 7.
Oh my gosh, look at all these crabs. It's definitely 10, 39, 60 crabs.
Look at that!
You can hear them. Can you hear them?
You bad crabs!
Why are they bad?
They're coming my way!
Look, Sierra, they're going
What kind of crabs are these?
I don't know.
Soldier crabs. Soldier crabs? They look like little soldiers. That makes sense. Do you want to name them, Sierra?
Oh, that means good day, mate. How you going?
Is that a type of crab in Australia?
way. Yes! Yes! Nailed it! This is really fine. I like it.
Oh, pretty cool. I'm back and I'm trying to get some work done. And if you listen real carefully, you'll hear the sound that we never hear here. And that's absolute silence. It's Sunday, and I'm purposely coming in on Sunday because I want to get some delicate stuff done while nobody else is here creating dust, and that is to paint and to prime the bilges. But I need to clean them out and get all the dust out first. And it's a real hard thing to do when people are grinding, sanding, all that stuff. So that's what I'm trying to do today. Come in here and get on top of it. And you might be wondering, what are the bilges on this boat? And obviously there's a bilge on the starboard and the port. I'm gonna start with the starboard side first. But essentially, that is the bilge right there. And as you can see, there's tons of dust, metal shavings, all kinds of just trash in there that happens over time. And so I'm gonna go in, I'll clean it all out, and I'm trying to get a primer on today, and then I have to wait 3 hours before doing a coat of paint. So we'll see what we can get done today. So let's knock it out. First things first, vacuum cleaner extension to suck in all the little crevices and get all the little stuff out. We'll start with that. So we just got done vacuum cleaning and then acetoning it all out and making sure it's really clean. Now it's time to bring on some heavy duty stuff. Alley Bright, so this is gonna clean the aluminum so that paint will really adhere to it. So we'll put that on there and then we'll get working on priming.
Before we paint the bilges, we need to get them spotless. This acid-based aluminum cleaner etches the surface, removing oxidation, grime, and any other contaminants that could mess with paint adhesion. Once dry, it leaves the aluminum with a slightly rough etched finish, perfect for primer and paint to bond to. It's a crucial step to make sure our bilge paint job lasts in this tough marine environment.
All right, primer time. After reading the instructions, it says to make sure to shake well. We'll call that shook. And one of the problems I found was that the handles of the brushes were just too long. It's tough to get in the little nooks and crannies, so I'm gonna cut this guy right here. Just like butter. All right, so just wrapped up a wonderful Sunday, got a lot done. I was able to get this other bilge knocked out. So there's the bilge primed up, and see if I can get in here this week and do some painting on it and get it looking good. So, all right, we're calling it a Sunday. See you guys.
All right. So continuing on with some projects that we started last week. Dan welded the angle on the end. And then my next step is drilling these holes like that. That'll fit a 1/2-inch BSP fitting. And then we'll thread into that with the fittings. So I have to cut this hole out big so this can fit inside there. That's 25.
The heat exchangers were looking pretty schmick, as Dan would say, and now all the prep work on these is done. The next step is installing them into place. But here in the shop, there's always multiple projects going on at once, and one of those is sanding. We estimate there's about 450 hours left of sanding to do on the hull, so we try to chip away at it a few hours here and there when we can. Ryan has been an absolute beast on the sander thus far, but today we also have some extra reinforcements.
All right, so you probably can't hear me because of the music and the sanding, but today we got a Patreon named Steve who stopped by to do some sanding. Steve, where are you from?
Born in North Carolina, spent most of my life between Miami and the Bay Area.
What are the chances of this? I live in North Carolina. Steve was born in North Carolina, and here we are 9,000 miles away in Australia working on an aluminum cat for Delos. So Steve has been nice enough to say he wants to help out. We'll see what he's saying in an hour because we've got a lot of hard work for him. But no, we're gonna throw him on some sanding today, and nothing sexy, but something that it needs to be done. I just want to say thank you very much for coming by today and helping us out.
Yeah, I think I'm starting to get the hang of it. In about another 10 hours, I think I'll have it dialed in.
Exactly. What you can't tell is Steve actually changed clothes. And I'm here to tell you, the guy was dripping sweat just 5 minutes ago with his other clothes. So either he was spritzing himself. We'll have to play back the time lapse to make sure he stayed working. Tell me, what was your first impression when you walked in and saw the boat? What was the first thought you had, other than it was super loud in there?
I've seen it on YouTube and stuff. You see it in live, you get a bit different perspective for the size of it and the proportions of everything. And it's a gorgeous boat. I mean, awesome. I can't wait till we see it actually get finished.
Absolutely. Well, thanks again for your help today.
You're welcome.
We just wanted to say another huge thanks to Steve and all of our amazing inner tribe on Patreon that have given us endless love and support through this exciting chapter of our lives. We literally could not have gotten to where we are today without you, but being able to share the journey with you and getting the chance to meet with so many of you here in the boatyard has been absolutely incredible. If you'd like to get invites to future meetups, direct messages with us, watch all the videos early with no ads, and lots of other sweet perks, consider joining our inner tribe at patreon.com/svdelos. And now, let's get back to work on the keel cooler.
All right, check this out. These turned out beautifully. They've all been sealed up. We threaded these fittings. This is a 1/2-inch BSP thread, so I'll be able to put a barb with a hose and a clamp, a heater hose. They've been pressure tested, so we hooked them up to the pressurized air and did a soapy water bubbles test, and they all passed. That's why it says okay, 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 okay. And yeah, that's it. Now the last thing to do is to position them where I want in each engine room and then tack them in place. And then Dan will come through and fully weld them after we get everything back out. Yeah, I think that looks real good right there. I'll have plenty of room for my fittings. Get a nice contact with the hull. Transmit heat to that stiffener right there. So I'll go ahead and clean that area up and then we'll tack it in. Okay, tacked in.
This morning is a very excited morning. Who's coming, Sierra? Who's coming?
Momo.
Are you excited? She'll be here really, really soon.
Yay.
If you've been following along with the channel for a while, you know exactly why we're so excited for More to arrive. Sierra and her have such a special bond, and it's always been the hardest part about this lifestyle, spending so much time away from the people you love. But since Sierra was born, we've made family time way more of a priority, and now we couldn't wait for her to get here.
Mom should be here in a few minutes. Ryan went to pick her up at the airport, which was really nice, because then we get to prepare a little bit for the whole day.
All right, so success on picking up the very, very important package of More. Her flight went off without a hitch, and she was able to get off the plane in perfect amount of time.
After 2 days flying.
She's overdressed because it's super hot here. But what kind of temperature is it in Sweden right now?
Below 0, 5 degrees below 0.
Let's see if we can get to the house before Sierra wakes up. That's our goal, so that we can see her before she goes off to big girl school.
Sierra, who's here?
Mama!
Yay!
Mama! Mama!
You gotta see.
Mama!
Are you so excited?
Mama! Mama!
Somebody's ready! I'm filming from the logos! I love it! Yay! Sierra! Oh, jag är glad att se dig!
We don't even exist right now.
Åh, vad mysigt! Nu är jag här!
What's your old backpack?
I miss it.
Ja, och jag har saknat dig jättemycket.
You want to show More? Hi, More! G'day, welcome to Australia, right?
Hey, g'day mate, how you
You
going?
looking for More? G'day, mate, how you going? Come on in.
Come inside.
Jag kommer. Jag bara går bara in. Ja, kul att se er.
It's bedroom time.
Wow!
And this is a bedroom.
Säng!
And this is a thing for camping, but now you can sleep in it.
Ska jag sova på den?
Yeah.
Thanks so much for watching this week's episode. If you want to stay in the loop with updates about us in the build, cool stories and news we've been following in the sailing world, and whatever other fun stuff we feel like sharing, please sign up for our free newsletter at sfidelis.com/newsletter. We hope you enjoyed this one, and we'll see you next Friday as we dive into fabricating shaft brake to make sure we can lock our shafts and feather our props for increased speed and performance under sail.